The mole question is, how many total atoms are in 89.99 grams of calcium phosphate? So we are going to start with 89.99 grams of calcium phosphate. And of course, we would have to cancel out. So we go from grams to moles. So we add up the mass of calcium and phosphate together, and we get 310.15 grams of calcium phosphate. That will be 1 mole of calcium phosphate. And from moles, we go to 13 moles because, of course, we are trying to figure out the total atoms in calcium phosphate. So we're going from grams to atoms. So 1 mole of calcium phosphate will go to 13 moles of calcium phosphate. The reason why we get 13 moles, it's because we add on total. First we have multiplied. First we multiply. This would be a 2 because it would go in here, into, and then we also multiply into the 4. And we add them all together to get 13 moles. And then we multiply again. So we go from 1 mole of calcium phosphate to atoms, which is 6.2 times 10 to the 23rd calcium phosphate to get the total amount of atoms. So we add all of it together, and the answer is 2.27 times 10 to the 23rd atoms of calcium phosphate. In this video, we are going to work with a Lewis dot structure for chlorate. The chemical formula for chlorate is ClO3 1 negative. So for us to know the total amount of electrons that we will need on the Lewis dot structure is to count and add all the electrons. So chlorine has 7 electrons plus 18 electrons from oxygen plus the one up here would give us 26 electrons. So we will have chlorine, just put chlorine in the middle, and have our oxygens on either side. And oxygen can also be in here, down here, if you would like, but I will keep it up here on this side. So we would put the bonds together in between here, which I have 2, 4, 6 bonds right here. Of course, oxygen will need its 8 electrons, so we would have our electrons on there, all around. The neat part about this is that we can have double bonds So we can move this group of electrons to here and have another bond right there. And we can erase that group because it was already added down here. As well as on this side, we can move this little group of electrons, on this side here, and we have another double bond. And we can erase these electrons on this side. Now, if you want to make sure how many electrons you have on here, you can count them. And of course, chlorine will have a few more electrons. So we add another 2 electrons in the bottom of chlorine. You just count them all together and it will give you 26 electrons at the end. And this is the formula, or the Lewis dot structure. And of course we had to put it in brackets because of, again, the -1 up here. So we will add brackets around and add the negative. And this is the completion of the Lewis dot structure for chlorate.